Hello, I am Moonlight Tree, and there's a couple things going. I'm gonna do a little bit of art today. See, art. But I also um have in the background going Soda Dungeons too. I just have it there so that I can see when I need to pop over and do something with it. Um, I'm in different clothes today, just kind of chill out, normal clothes. Um, but while I am um making this card. I'm just making a card because I like doing arts, and I'm just gonna do an arts. I am um, going to talk about something a little heavy. So if you guys aren't up for um, it being a little heavy, then do what it is that uh, keeps you safe. Okay. Now I'm gonna use. Yeah, I'm gonna use this. It'll. You plugged in? Nope. Yes, you are plugged in. That is not on. So let's turn that on. There we go. Now I'm getting used to a pad that I was gifted. And you'll see the mouse leaving the screen sometimes because, well, that's just a thing. So this is going to be for Mother's Day. I think Mother's Day. All right, let me clear this off. So there's a few things I can do. I'm gonna move Mother's Day, and since I'm making this a um, card, I like the background staying checkered. If you guys need it not to be checkered, do let me know in the future. However, I think I'm going to take the time to nope write out and um so the hard bit. So April is I believe internationally Autism Awareness Month, and there's a thing. I'm gonna do type. We're gonna do typing. Candy cane. I want that up to. No, I actually should probably just need 99. It's the thing. So, why is Autism Awareness Month a um, difficult month, and why is it a topic that I know is rather heavy for most people? Ah, there's the one I want. Go up to 55. Here we are. So, multiple reasons, but there's a thing that I want to touch on that realistically I think people miss, and I don't think people want to be missing this. So, I figured while we're doing gentle, light art, we can kind of touch on it a little. So, autism, ASD, ADHD, autism, ASD, autism spectrum disorder. It's a thing. It's a thing that people don't realize is a thing. What I mean by that isn't that people aren't aware that it exists. No, we're to the point where people are aware that it exists, not necessarily aware of how it affects others and how their reactions affect those that have it. What do I mean by that? Growing up, most people are told that they have great potential. And in this great potential, they should strive to achieve it. Hands, I think I'm going to try to have two hands pointed this way and instead of like that, like this. So what? Okay, so that's a thing everyone goes through. This looks like a chick. So why would yes, I'm dancing around the heavy topic a little bit. You'll kind of hopefully eventually see why, but it's most certainly a topic. I'm going to zoom in now. Where's my zoom in button? Zoom in. Right there. I'm going to focus on making a chicken. So it's less a matter of what everyone experiences and more a matter of what how people are treated. All right, so if it's more of a matter of how people are treated, then how are they treated? Good question. Everyone that is now confused by what it is that I am doing and does not understand where it is that I am going with this. But I promise we'll get there. So, in the early 90s, early to mid 90s, people, let me get a reference up because I am not doing that well on this. Yep. That's a good mother hen. Yep. Nope. Nope. I would like that one. Okay. Nope. The picture of a hen, and what I want to do is, nope, not that. All right. So if you are autistic or ADHD, you end up growing up and being told who famously is like you. That doesn't seem too bad, right? If there's famous people like you, there's a higher chance of you succeeding, right? Well, that's eventually doesn't feel like why they're telling you. Now, why would I say that? Well, let's say that you have ADHD and you're told that Whoopi Goldberg, Einstein, and all these famous people have it just like you. And then everybody tells you and treats it like, hey, no, you have this thing that gives you a superpower, gives you different ways, makes you like these people that revolutionized the world. Because they did. They revolutionized the world. Well, as a kid, rather impressionable kid, what do you do with that information? While there's all these adults telling you over and over and over again that you should be grateful of all things, that you have autism or ADHD or whatever mental illness it is that you have. Okay, that seems a little far-fetched. And then there's this kind of, I won't say hidden, but it's not entirely apparent until you've heard it for 30 or something years. And then it's, you should be grateful that you were born, because places like Autism Speaks very much forward this thing of, well, you have autism, thus you are a plague on humanity and only have you are only keeping your parents and friends and family, you're only holding them back. So you should be grateful that anyone associates with you. You should be grateful that your parents are such saints that you were born. And you hear this, and people argue it, and people are like, that's messed up. Why are you telling literal children this? And I grew up hearing this and stuff, and thus the Autism Awareness Month, right? We should be aware that these people have it rough. All right. You don't need to just be aware that people have it rough. Another there's another portion that really kind of solidifies this for me and has it sink in more than I think a lot of people are all right with. And I'm all right being the outsider that people are not all right with because I've never fit in. There is no fitting in for me, no matter how hard I've tried. And I've learned to mask a bit. So you grow up being told you're better than everyone else. You have more potential. You have this untapped into potential that you seem to be refusing. That's the fun bit here. You are refusing to meet your full potential. And no, people don't refuse to meet their potential, especially when they've been told time and time and time again that they are a burden. You, it, and some of that is still around. And then there's the infantilization. Now, not everyone's heard of the term infantilization, and I want to be frank here. I'm fine with people not knowing that word. That means that they haven't um, experienced it, and that is, it's a form of comfort, but it's a form of comfort that sounds weird coming from most people, actually. So infantilization is um, boils down to, and I'm gonna boil down and talk in generalities because it's a heavy topic. It boils down to not expecting things out of people, like to the point where you are hurting them with your lack of expectations. So what what could that look like, and how could that be such a bad thing? Well, let's say you find out somebody has autism and you go from expecting them to um do their best, um have some knowledge in some areas where they're knowledgeable and some areas where they're not, maybe have trouble um expressing themselves, and then from there work on things. Maybe you don't expect them to do stuff, and instead of normal human expectations, you expect them to not know how to tie their shoes or eat food, and you expect them to never be able to learn how to tie their shoes or eat food or make their own food or things of that nature. Okay, so maybe some people with autism have trouble with that. Maybe it's a sensory thing, maybe it's a thing that needs to be accommodated for. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I will say the, oh, you have X, you are forever going to be limited by Y. So I'm not even going to bother teaching you Y. I'm not going to bother teaching you how to socialize. I'm not going to bother teaching you, trying to teach you um, how to make expectations, how to make goals, how to do any of these things. I'm not going to bother because you're too much of a burden. You're too much of a bother. you're not going to learn it anyway. You don't want to learn it anyway. And that causes a lot of harm. It's a lot of, they're going to meet your expectations because you've just essentially told them that they aren't even worth your time to get to know, to decide what they can and can't do. Why would they try? You've already written them off. You've already told them in no uncertain terms. And if you're a teacher or a parent, that they will never, right? That they're a culmination of your mistakes. It's a mistake that they are now responsible for you. You are nothing but a burden. And that's a thing that's hard to talk about. That's a thing that's hard to call someone out on. And as you see, I'm making a Mother's Day card. I'm one of the lucky ones. My mom didn't. My mom isn't this person. Sure, she got frustrated, and sure, she made mistakes, but that's human. Humans get frustrated. Humans make mistakes. Sheep get frustrated. That's a living being. We have a living being making living being mistakes and struggling with living being issues. I don't see that as a moral or a failing. I'd see the failing as, well, you're a genius or you're nothing. You're not worth my time if you're not amazing at the things I am going to try to force you to be amazing at. And there's going to need to be a give and take. And that's okay. Life is full of ups and downs and gives and takes and things. That shouldn't be um, what people base things on, right? Sure, some people have issues. Some people with autism and ADHD have issues with um, drawing thing or understanding social cues, but some have trained their whole lives and understand social cues more than either they let on because they've also noticed that people don't expect and bad things happen when they do something people don't expect, or they are scientists and changing the world, and it's okay that they don't understand because scientists are allowed to be a little weird, but that doesn't mean that everyone that has these have to be a scientist. It it's not solely just about expectations and um the knowledge thereof. It's also about, well, what is it? How is it? What's going on? And that's powerful. And then there's organizations on top of this social thing where they take advantage of people's lack of information. They make fear-mongering campaigns, and they exist. Autism Speaks is very bad. Those that want to practice um, eugenics are fairly bad. They exist. They're doing this stuff. And it's not just, yes, master race. It's, yes, master brain. Well, you don't have a similar brain. I'm assuming that my followers can continue on with that and I don't have to say it, which, yes, assuming is dangerous, but it's less painful than saying it myself. It's, there are good people, and there are wonderful, wonderful people that do their best and are like, no, no, these are people with people needs, not some plague upon humanity, not some genius. They're allowed to exist as people. Pardon me as I uh, decide to get lost in the weeds of what I'm doing, but that's why I end the streams the way I do. And if you decide to leave because you stayed and listened, thank you for staying and listening. And nah, this is too heavy, this is too radical, this is too whatever. That's your prerogative and your choice. I'm not going to hold you making a choice against you. I'm going to make, if you make a choice and then decide to try to force me to obey your choice, like, nah, you are XYZ because I've decided you are XYZ. I will hold that against you because there is no amount of words for the time that I have fought against that just because I want to be allowed to exist in this world. Because people exist. And people are important. I'm not going to try to take that away from anyone, at least on purpose. And I wouldn't be the best person to talk to on some of these things. Official Squirrel Dad um, is fairly knowledgeable, and he is fairly outspoken. There's several that are. Um, I will talk about what I know, and I will talk about what I can, but for my own safety, because it is an issue of safety. I'm not going to open up too many Pandora's boxes because not because I can't close them because they've already been opened. I didn't get consent in that. But yeah, that's looking good. I should find the middle top. Um, but because I can't. Um, there's no world in which I um, can fight on everything that is important to me. And while that's a hard thing to realize and a hard, yeah, nope, don't like that. And a hard thing for some people to be okay with, and even me, I'm not completely okay with the fact that I can't anymore. It's okay if you can't. It's okay if you can. It's important that you, yes, you listening, do what you can. Empathy is not a weakness, it's a strength. It's only a weakness when people abuse it. And a thing that can be said about the people that abuse it is them abusing it says more about them than it says about you having it. So, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to try to continue existing. Maybe I'm not going to manage to exist in a way that everybody understands. That's okay. Like this chicken. There's things that are going to be hard. And then there's things that are going to be easier. And there's people that are going to be hard to get along with and hurt you. And then there's people that, well, let's be truthful, aren't worth the time to try. And it's your choice who those people are. I am going to continue being as kind as I can to as many people as I can while understanding that there are people that are going to abuse that. And as hypocritical as it is, me doing this hard conversation and essentially a call to action going, I what autism acceptance means, because if I'm honest, that is what I am crying out for. It's not accept the bad behavior, it's accept people that are doing their best to not harm others. People don't get a free pass just because they have a disability. In fact, I would argue that they never have. One of the key things that people say is, oh, they have special interests, oh, they need to fit in with society, blah, blah, blah. I've heard that. I've heard that all of my life. I just think it's time that we also admit that people that are trying their best are still going to make mistakes especially when all of the odds. I do mean every single odd that could be stacked against a person is stacked against a person. Now, I will continue. Oh, the art and the chicken. Let me move this so you guys can see. Um, Next time, I probably am going to stream the continuation of it. So it'll be a nice, long, big thing. But um, please make sure to take care of yourselves. I'm gonna bop over to just talking so you guys can, so I can thank the patron supporters and people that um, support me. I can ask you guys to take care of yourselves, drink water, um, eat food, do the things you need to be okay, and don't beat yourself up for other people. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye for now.